Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Surviving UX podcast. I am Meg Kramer, and my co host is Justin Edwards. This is the podcast of the crummy, gooey, and sticky parts of your UX career. If your career looks like a small child's car seat, don't worry, ours does too. Jessamine, how are you doing? How are the kids?
Um, Fine. When you talk about the small child's car seat, it made me laugh because a few days ago I pulled something out of our diaper bag and
Was it poop?
it was covered with something brown and sticky, and I thought, what is this? And then I looked down in a pocket and I had put like a full king size like Kit Kat.
Oh
I
my
guess
gosh.
we'd opened it and eaten some of it, and then for whatever dumb reason, I stuck the rest in the diaper bag, and then it sat there
A,
for weeks.
a squished melted Kit Kat probably does look a lot like some child poop. Which
Yeah.
actually brings me to a maybe a little warning for this episode. It might get a little gross. So if you want to keep your very high opinion of me, uh, that I'm sure all of our listeners have, maybe skip this one, go to the next one. Um, but we've already started talking and broached the poo topic, so hang in there with us if you want to keep listening. So our first topic today is I want to talk a little bit about remote work and return to office
Hmm.
motions. So like checking in with you, Jessamine, we've been talking about this, for a while. Like, how's it going for you?
Mm.
Um, and how are you feeling splitting time between office and home and how's everything going?
Well, I will say this, like because of the heat on the East Coast
Mm-hmm.
right now, the trains are running late. They have to run slower. They
Mm-hmm.
can't go as fast. And so my
Mm-hmm.
train is consistently an hour late. So it's
Wow.
adding an hour to my commute because I still have to show up on time to catch it. And then I
Mm-hmm.
end up sitting on the platform for an hour. Um,
In
And
the
that's,
heat.
yeah, in the heat. I go back and
Jeez.
forth between the air conditioning, like lounge area, which is
Mm,
totally full, and then just
mm,
going outside for some fresh air, even though it's like 98 degrees. So I end up sitting a lot, and the commute has been long. It has been challenging, but I'm sort of like coming up with new things to do on the commute, and I did sketch last time. So that was new. I hadn't done that before, but I was like, all right, I can do this is one more thing I can do on this
mhm.
train. Um, so yeah, the commute is tough. And then I also got accosted this week by a street dude, like a crazy dude on the street while I was waiting for my bus. And that was not fun. I ended up having to kind of run away from him and hide and go find a security guard. So that was stressful. In the end, they kind of
Absolutely.
chased him away, but it took up more time, and I was like, I just want to be home. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So how about
If
you?
you could work fully from home, would you want to?
So I have thought about that because I was thinking back to, I mean, I did for like 3 or 4 years.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, along with
I did miss going out. I did miss being around people. I do like being in the office and being
Mhm.
around people. I wish I had more coworkers with me in my office. I think what I end up doing, which is I think a lot of people's story, is that I get to the office and then I spend most of the time on video calls.
calls. Yeah.
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 So I'm not actually
So
having in-person meetings.
yeah, this was on my mind. And so I was like, okay, what's out there that's like new that's going to tell us stuff about the state of like remote work and who it's benefiting. And there was a podcast slash article from The Atlantic that I think is a good one if anyone out there is like interested in kind of seeing some of that stuff. And one of the things that they talked about was that if even one person in your team is not there, like physically, that that can mean like a dramatic lowering of the impact of being in person.
Mm.
Like they were saying, like almost 30%. And the impact of being in person, like the benefits of being in person, they all
Oh.
operationalize and stuff like that. And I don't know all the details, but it was something along the lines of like, even if one person isn't there. And so like that's interesting to me because it's kind of like the benefit of being in person only works if everyone's there. And that's kind of why some people are
That's
like,
like an
well,
unrealizable ideal. I'm sorry.
I
Unless you're working in like a hospital or something where you have to physically be there, like
yeah.
for an office to have
I
only one
yeah.
person remote, like that's every team. Nobody has a
I
totally in-person team.
I agree. And that's why like it's so stressful, I think, for me to see, maybe not stressful, but it's so frustrating for me to see companies like holding on to these ideals of
Yeah.
in-person collaboration and like pushing it because it does kind of feel like, well, I mean, at least somebody's going to be remote for some reason. And there's so many good reasons for that. Like, I will tell you a little bit about my week. So,
Hmm.
back to the old cancer story
Mm.
of my life. Like, I had a treatment earlier this week, and the treatment takes 3 hours in the infusion suite.
Oh
And
God.
I will feel fine during the infusion. I won't feel great afterwards, but I'll feel fine during it. So I brought my work computer and I
Mm.
listened to recordings of user tests and I did stuff. And
Okay.
it's just like for my life, for my world, I just can't. I am just so close to the benefits of remote work that
Yeah.
I can't really um I I don't really understand like how people can argue against it in terms of like what it offers.
Yeah.
This article also said about one of the things I thought was interesting was they were talking about productivity, and the study looked at the workers in the study during the pandemic, and the productivity of senior folks increased.
Mm.
Um, and I feel like that is true for me. And I'm not saying
Yeah.
I'm like the most senior on my team. Like I would like to say I'm like steadily mid-career.
Hmm.
Um, but I do feel like there's just so much nonsense you get pulled into
Hmm.
that takes your time away from actually sitting down and doing the work. And I, when companies make these statements, and I saw something the other day that was like, like a cartoon of a person who like doesn't get dressed and like, like slumps on their couch or is napping with their computer open or whatever. And like the idea behind it is that, oh, I get distracted at home or I do laundry at home, it's like that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, but that stuff happens at the office too. Like that nonsense
Oh,
crap
yeah.
happens at the office
Sure.
too. And so it's like what like don't kid around that
People,
like
yeah, are masters of
non-work
time
stuff
waster
is
anywhere.
happening. Yeah.
I do feel
Yeah.
like though I'm curious in terms of relationships, like how do you feel about like friendships and relationships with remote coworkers? Do you feel like you're making friendships and relationships that last beyond maybe your time working together?
Yeah. So like let's talk about like so there are downsides. There are things that I'm willing to admit like I can't do. One of them is that it's definitely harder. I don't being fully remote. I don't I can't say that that's that those bonds are really being made. And of course, like this is anecdotal. Somebody might have a different experience than mine. The other thing that I'm feeling, and I'm wondering if you're feeling it too from a hybrid perspective, is like something that they call the promotion penalty, so that like
Hmm.
people are seeing that or the study at least was seeing that like people who are remote or people who are in person are more likely to get promoted.
Mm.
And I think that's another drawback that I have to face. I think there are things I can do. I think there are things anybody who's fully remote could do about like being more present, being more on top of it, making connection, like staying in people's face, like, being the one that somebody goes to for expertise, being like a critical like cog in the wheel
Hmm.
that or the machine, cog in the machine that, that you're always recognized, you're always, getting the accolades for what you do. I think there's things I could do to kind of overcompensate for the fact that I'm not physically in person, but I'm also just like too tired and I don't want to do those things. So the other like
Mm-hmm.
compromise I'm making here is like, you know what? That might just be my reality that I'm just
Yeah,
gonna be kind of overlooked.
I read about this a lot, like when I became a mom, about how there's like a mom penalty
Hmm.
that, you become a mom and then in people's eyes you're not manager material or something like that. But I mean, I know plenty of mom managers, so I know that's not necessarily true, but I'm
Yeah.
sure it doesn't necessarily help either. Um, unless you have someone who is like, "Oh, well, you know, I admire that," or something. But I
Right.
mean, that's still bias, even if it's a positive bias, it's still a bias. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, I think when I used to read articles like that, it would just make me feel so down that I would be like, oh, I don't even want to learn about this. Like I'm already doomed, I don't want to even hear
Yeah.
this. I don't want to hear that I'm already
Yeah.
doomed, that it doesn't matter how hard I work because it's never going to happen for me. Like I don't want to hear that type of message,
Yeah.
even if, statistically, the odds are against me. But I
Yeah. It
guess
definitely
yeah.
happens. It just like people, like parents, parents, specifically moms, like they do get promoted. They do have manager positions. I do see that, but I
Mhm.
almost like in my mind, like flag it as something special and unique and like, oh, it's so refreshing when I see it, which that definitely makes me feel like it's not the norm.
Mhm.
Um, so I have one other drawback of being remote that I'll
Mhm.
tell you about.
Okay.
So the other day, I'm working downstairs on my couch, like a remote worker does, probably in
Mm.
their pajamas. Actually, I was working after hours. I was working like at night, which is
Ooh.
why I was downstairs.
Okay.
And I left my notebook. And I still take handwritten notes in a notebook. It's like, it's just like a little notebook with like some lined paper. Do you still take handwritten notes in a notebook?
I
Is
do.
that like, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So like not super weird.
Yeah.
So I leave it on the coffee table and come upstairs, go to bed, uh, wake up in the morning, like start my work day. I know my work computer's downstairs, so I like need to go find it and get it so that I can start my work day. And the cat vomited on the coffee
Oh
table.
no. Oh God.
And the cat vomit was, if you haven't recently seen cat vomit, audience, cat vomit is usually like part liquid, part
Oh.
whatever the crap is that they recently ate. And so the
Uh.
liquid had like seeped into my notebook.
Oh.
So it wasn't as if it was covered in the nasty food substance that the cat vomited up, but it was just the like, I guess bile, is that what bile is? That seeped
Ooh.
into my notebook and seeped into
Ah.
multiple pages of my
Oh
notebook.
boy. Oh
And
boy.
these are, and I'm just like,
Ah.
okay, so that is a hazard of working from home. I sincerely doubt that that would have happened in the office.
Mm.
Now, you tell me what you think about this, Jessamine. I kept the notebook.
Oh, Meg, don't even say that. I cannot believe it.
It dried itself out, and then I put it in a plastic bag. And the reason is because I had to get some of the notes out of there and transcribe them or get them into a
Oh.
new notebook.
Oh.
And so I was wondering what
Oof.
you think about making the episode artwork my notebook in a plastic zippy bag that
Oh,
still
Meg.
has,
I mean, can you
no,
rinse
you
it
don't want that
off?
one. It's already dry. It's dry.
Oh God.
Anyway, so I still have it. And if we were, if
Ooh,
we were video recording this podcast, I'd hold it up right
that's
now. But
horrifying. I am just
yeah.
freaking out. I um I can't even, like, that's so gross. I would have just thrown it away immediately. I mean, it's funny I say that, but I literally am carrying around two notebooks right now, one which is full and then the other which I just started. And usually when I
Mhm.
fill up a notebook, I throw it out. If it's just like a soft, like covered notebook. If it's a hardback, sometimes I have some of mine where I have some sketches or something in there and I'm like, "Oh, these are cute. I'll keep that." But I enjoy throwing out notebooks because I'm like, oh, all that work, it's done, you know. But this one I know I have like to-do items in there that I haven't done yet, and I haven't transferred them into my new one. So I'm like carrying around two
Mhm.
notebooks everywhere I go.
Yeah. Well, you better get
Yeah.
those to-do items out there before either
Uh-huh.
child poop or a Kit Kat is smeared in there.
Oh, gosh, Meg, you're dedicated, I have to say. I would have been like, I'm letting this go. I'm letting this go.
I have a problem. I have a serious problem that I cannot
Ooh,
let things go. I really need to fix that.
okay.
All right,
Gosh.
topic number two.
Ooh.
What's next on our list,
All right,
Jessamine?
so I pulled a couple of headlines, tech related headlines for us to sort of check in about, just to kind of, give us something to think about technology, user experience out in the world, a lot of trends happening. So, our first story is that McDonald's will stop testing AI to take drive-through orders for now. So apparently
Mhm.
McDonald's had been testing with 100 restaurants, like AI ordering from the drive-through, and they decided to wind that down. And there were some funny TikToks that I watched of people and their orders getting messed up by the AI. And one was a girl who was ordering like 250 chicken nuggets, and she was
That's a
like
completely
yelling,
reasonable amount of chicken nuggets. I don't know
"Stop,
what she
stop."
was
And it
talking
had her order like it was like in the hundreds of dollars. And they were just giggling because they just did not know what to do. But what's your thought on this? Have you ever talked to a robot when you're ordering fast food? Do you order fast food? Because you're in Santa Barbara, so I know Santa Barbarians aren't hot on a lot of
about.
fast food.
So um when I was reading this article that you shared with me, I was like, oh man, have I talked to a robot? How do I know? I think the one the other day that made me think of was I went to a Starbucks drive-through, and it was just like similar to the TikTok video with the 100 chicken 100, 240 chicken nuggets. In that uh it kind of had like that kind of interface. And I was like, I am not 100% sure that that was a human person like talking
Mm.
back to me.
Oh
Maybe it was
yeah.
like a robot. But otherwise, no, I don't think I have had that experience. I will say, as a side note, I would love to use the McDonald's app. I would. We have a McDonald's close by.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I'm like, I would love a McFlurry. I
Uh-huh.
even enjoy a Happy Meal because I
Okay.
like to acquire toys that I don't need. Um, but I have found that when I have tried to use the app, it stops me from even getting into the app because California has that one of those laws around like don't sell my personal information, and
Okay.
you're supposed to be able to choose. So like I don't know what it's like in Virginia, but at least in California, we get a lot of like pop-ups that's like, hey, like you live in the state of California, you can opt out of this website like selling
Mm.
your personal information.
Yeah.
And I would have assumed the McDonald's would have been like, hey, you can either opt out or you can opt in, and then you can go ahead and order your fillet of fish. Um, but they don't give you an opt out option. And so I have not yet
Oh,
once used the app. The interface is like it is so weird, Jessamine.
Meg,
Like
you're talking
it,
to someone who uses the McDonald's app on a very regular basis.
but
I
but
mean,
but like the thing that it's trying to get me to do, it's like this is the statement. It says, let us continue tailoring your ads. I'm like,
oh,
no thank you. Like,
uh-huh.
where's the no thank you part?
Yeah, there's no opt out.
there's a no
I
there's
was in
no
a
opt
forum
out.
today, on that note. I was in a forum today and I was so frustrated because there was no cancel button. I was trying to like fakey fake do something on a website, to just, see what the pages look like. And I was advancing through the form, and then it was like time to, create the thing. And I was like, nope. And then I was like, well, where's the cancel button? No cancel button. And I had to like X out of the site, totally and close the tab. And I thought, come on, that's like such a rookie mistake not to have a cancel button
Mhm.
always. But I will say this, the McDonald's app has improved over time. I also feel like I'm getting robot voices every now and then in places I did not expect them. One of them recently was I subscribed to a Spanish self-help podcast, and I believe it is a robot because the voice is
Huh.
just so even that I'm like, it never pauses, it never takes a breath or makes a mistake. There's no vocal fry. Like, there's nothing to like make it sound like
Yeah.
a real person. And I'm like, I don't think I can listen to this anymore. I've listened to a couple episodes. I'm like, yeah, I'd rather just hear
Jasmine,
somebody.
are we an AI podcast? Are we robots? I don't
That's
even
why I
know
feel
what's
like,
real
you know what?
anymore.
Let's make mistakes because then people will know that it's real. We're the real deal, you know?
I'll go to a website and put in like create a podcast to tell a story about cat vomit and UX.
All right, let's do it. All right, so here's our second story. What happens when your bank isn't really a bank and your money disappears? So this was reported by the New York Times. Apparently, there's a lot of fintech startups out there that have been advertising really heavily as places for people, I guess, to, make some money, make some interest. Some of them have games and things like that. And people have been putting their money into these like lenders, I guess. So they're called Juno, Yield Street, and Yada. Have you heard of any of these?
I have not, and just this whole topic like gives me hives.
I I have a very strong response to this because I had somebody one time sort of challenge me on another bank that they were working on a project for an online bank. And they were like, "Well, why wouldn't you just do it?" And I'm like, because I've never heard of this company. I have no idea who they are. And I've had my current bank since I was born. So no. And apparently what happened was so they were advertising as FDIC insured lenders or banks, but they were not actually FDIC insured. And some sort of intermediary called Synapse Technology went bankrupt, and therefore these other banks that use that technology now are not able to give the depositors their money, and they've lost
Hmm.
like several, what does it say? Millions of dollars of money is gone missing, and people can't access it, and then everyone's pointing fingers. It said that these banks or quote unquote banks had like one physical branch, very small online presence, and then basically like use that to create this online like other company that
Hmm.
was it's hard even to understand honestly how this is all working, but basically there's a bank in Arkansas that actually manages the money, but you're not dealing with that bank in Arkansas, you're dealing with this online lender that is doing things. And that's how honestly like when you look at, I want to say like Apple Cash and PayPal and some of those other places, they're not necessarily banks. Like they'll put in the fine print that they're using some kind of a bank, but it's when you work with them and you deposit or send money through them, they're like it's an intermediary. And it's shocking sometimes like how many intermediaries there are these days that crop up to get between you and your, you know,
Hmm.
transaction. And like when I think about, I don't know if you've had this experience. Have you ever donated online?
Hmm.
And the number of intermediaries between you and then the organization of the person you're trying to donate to. And if one of those
Hmm.
things goes wrong or one of them has a charge or a fee, like,
Hmm.
it can eat up the money that you were trying
Yeah.
to donate. So, yeah. Have you, I mean, in terms of like finance or anything, have you experimented with online banking at all? Or like not just online banking, but like
Yeah.
online banks?
No, this all makes me very like nervous. And I'll tell you where there's no intermediary between me and my money or a person and their money is when it's like stuffed under the mattress, like the old school way of doing it. So that's how I think people
Yeah.
should do it.
Yeah. Right. Right.
No, that's ter that's also yeah, do not take financial advice from me.
It's very
Um,
scary. It's very scary to me that this kind of thing is allowed to be set up. And then once something fails, that suddenly this money, quote unquote, has disappeared for these people. And that,
yeah.
the insurance, the FDIC insurance that they're supposed to be getting, like that these institutions were allowed to advertise that they were insured and
Mhm.
then they're not. It's amazing to me what they're getting away with these days. And like these companies that are just popping up like mushrooms, there's no, they're using such kind of gross tactics, like playing games and like Timo or something, like you're spinning a wheel or you're playing a
Mhm.
game and then potentially winning a couple bucks and then I'm gonna take 30,000 or $60,000 and put in this bank. Like, but it's
Mm.
easier to say that now. I don't know. What do you think? I mean,
How about yeah, how about you, Justin? What do you like?
I feel like, the only mechanism that these customers have is to sue, right? Like that's the only thing we really offer in terms of in our society, right? If a company lets you
Mhm.
down or runs off with your money, like you then have to spend money to sue. So
Yeah.
these customers are going to have to figure out. They said that they reached out to the FDIC over and over and just got back like frequently asked questions handouts, but they didn't actually get any help. And it's like, gosh, it's hard. It's like, how are we allowing these scams? How are we allowing these scams? It seems like they should be regulated in some way, but I think it's also a testament to how vulnerable customers are when it comes to like luring people in and what kind of tricks they're willing to fall for. So, like, hey, spin this little wheel and get this little prize. Or,
Mhm.
hey, this is free. You get a free whatever. Like, think about all the credit card, tables in college where they'd give you a free sweatshirt or a free bag. I mean,
Yeah.
I hate to say this, but even at like Costco, they give out like a free cooler or a tote bag or something like that, and people sign up for the credit card, and I'm just like, man, all it takes is like some cheap gift.
Yeah.
Really?
I do have the Costco credit card because it does
Exact.
have
I
pretty good
know
benefits.
my parents
Um,
have it too, and I'm like, exactly, that's the thing. I mean, what the perks, right? The perks, but I
right. Yeah.
refuse. I refuse.
I
Um,
think that it boils down to that from like a UI UX perspective. It boils down to the fact that there are different interests between consumers and business. And every time you're engaging in UI that is that has some sort of business component to it, there has to be the realization there that this might not be in your best interest to engage.
mhm.
And like, what are you willing to risk? And I mean, to some extent, it kind of goes back to to go back to the McDonald's app. Like, I haven't used it, even though I desperately want to order my McFlurry through the app.
Mhm.
Like, I haven't used it because I don't like the fact that they want to tailor my ads. I don't think they need to tailor my ads for me to order a McFlurry from them. I just want a McFlurry.
What's
Um,
strange is there's no
and
ads in the app. Like I don't think I've ever seen an ad other
yeah,
than like, hey, there's a special or like a deal or reward, but
and maybe that's it because prices do change between different geos and stuff. But
Mhm.
the there's other things too, like you can get free fries or whatever if you use the
Oh
app. And
yeah.
it's like so it's the same thing as the Costco, tote
Giveaways.
bag.
Yeah. Giveaways.
And it's kind of like, what are you, I think what's complicated is the question of what are you giving up? Because
Uh-huh.
you're not getting fries for free, you're not
Mm-hmm.
getting a tote bag for free. So what are you giving up? And the fact that that's very masked
Mm.
and
Mm-hmm.
mysterious is the unfortunate part and the bad, obviously the bad UX.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right. The transparency and the trust, you know.
yeah.
I feel like that's the thing, like the trust is so powerful and if it gets broken, it's just like a game, it's game over,
Hmm.
game over
Yeah.
for the customer, but
And
um
hopefully you're not making $20,000, $30,000 mistakes
right.
or to put in $20,000, $30,000 before you're like, oh, game over with that, with that
Mm.
scenario. Because yeah, that's a lot to lose,
Yeah,
to learn that lesson.
right. I do think that like a lot of times as designers when we're working on products, like we are always thinking about that happy path and we're not thinking about what goes wrong for the customer and how we're treating that customer once something has gone south. And I do think that UX designers have like a mission, honestly. They have like a ethical duty to be like an advocate for somebody who
Hmm.
is having the bad experience or things went wrong. You know,
Hmm.
how do they repair or how do
And
they
yeah,
correct it?
and that is why product finds us so freaking annoying.
Right, right. But it's crazy. It's really crazy when you read these stories about the trust that gets broken. I mean, the AI voice thing, I feel like the only thing that I see out there with in terms of it being used is like it's only a tool to save businesses money. I have yet to see a AI voice get used where I'm like, oh my gosh, my experience was so much better because that voice was AI. Like
Hmm.
I don't feel like as a customer, if I'm talking to an AI prompt,
Hmm.
that I'm like, oh, this is a better experience.
Yeah. Shout
I
out to a shopping experience I had recently, and unfortunately, I can't remember the name of the company, but I was returning shoes, I think,
okay.
and so I go through the little chat bot,
Yeah.
and I was like, none of these things apply. Like, please get me a person. What, everybody's experienced
Yeah.
that thing. And the next blurb in the little chat was, we're uh hang tight, we're getting an agent, and then in parentheses, a living, breathing human.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, yeah, because that's what people want. They
Right.
want, you know, they want Lisa from South Dakota or
Right.
whatever to
Right.
like help you out.
I know.
Um,
I wonder if
yeah.
we'll ever get that back. I mean, is that just gone forever?
No, I think it's just a premium service now,
Yeah. Yeah.
unfortunately.
Mm. Well, I encourage you to get on that app and order yourself that McFlurry. So let's wrap up. Let's say goodbye to our listeners. Folks, if you need advice or sympathy for your UX career, we are listening. Please write to us at survivingux@gmail.com. Thanks, Meg.
Thanks, Jessamine. See y'all next time. Surviving UX is hosted and edited by Jessamine Edwards and Meg Kramer. Our theme music is, among other things, the on-hold music for Cisco Phones, Opus Number 1 by Tim Carlton and Derek Deal. Whether it's a Kit Kat or McFlurry, don't let your sweet treats melt in this awful summer heat. See you next time.